All right, artists, today we're going to go over coiling. So I have, if you were in first grade, this will be your base or something similar to this. Then I'm going to ask you to put your initials, which is the first letter of your first name. My first name starts with a J, and Mariola, my last name, starts with an M. So JM, and then you're going to write your teacher code. I'm just writing TC because I don't have a teacher code, so I'm writing TC for teacher code. But you know what your teacher codes are. It's either J1, R1, B1, or L1. Then you will turn it over. Now, on this side, you're going to use the pointy side of your paper clip, and you're going to just rough it up. Just scratching lines. We call this scoring. And notice I went quickly and neatly. It's not a gentle, and you actually have to dig into it. You don't want to deform your base, so you don't want to like squish totally through it, but you want enough because you need the lines to create suction with trapped air. You have your cup of water, and you've already rolled your coils. So along the coils that you have, you're going to just gently score along the length of your coil. Notice I am going kind of quickly. This is for time. And if I were you, I'd at least do 2 at a time. That'll help you when you're putting it all together, that you've done all this. So I have 2 coils scored, and my base scored. Now, using 2 fingers, you're going to just tap. You don't want to rub, because you don't want to rub out the lines that you made. Remember, that's how we fix our cracks, so you don't want to do that. And then just kind of tapping gently. You don't want, remember my Goldilocks rule, you don't want too much water, but you want enough that when it's trapped, it will create suction. So my first coil, and I would start, if your coils vary in size, if you have a thicker one, start with that as your base. And you're going to just attach, kind of like a sandwich, your scored side to the score side. So you want the scratchy lines to be touching each other, and you're gently just going to put that around the outside, or I'm sorry, on top, but on the outer edge. Okay, and as you go around, you're going to want to pick it up every once in a while, also to make sure that the water doesn't make your clay stick to your board. Keep your paper towels handy, so if you need to wipe your board off, you can. And you're going to kind of smooth as you go. Right, you want to really kind of gently squish. You don't want to squish it too much, but you want to make sure it's secured and attached. And you can see there the water gently kind of squishing out in some places. That's a good sign, okay? And now with this part that I have left over, see that? You can see that squishing. And smoothing gently. Now I have this little leftover part. You should have that. That happens. Instead of cutting that off and creating rings, we're just going to keep going. So now, instead of this, I'm going to gently add just a little quick bit of water there, making sure my scored side is down, and I'm going to gently do the same thing. Press it around, making sure the water comes out, and if I had any scratchies, I can gently smooth them as I go. Okay? I want you to be careful and make sure that you're smoothing this out nicely, but also keep an eye on the time. We don't want to spend so much time smoothing it out that we end up with a coil pot that's a teeny tiny. All right, so that's that. Now, because I've scratched here, we don't have to go and scratch again here because this is pretty moist. So depending on how long it took you, you want to make sure that both pieces are wet, and then you're going to just pick up where you left off. So where this coil ends, I'm going to attach another coil. And the first thing I'm going to do is smooth out that seam, that line where they touch, and then keep going, gently pushing, First I want to get it sort of on there, like that. And then I'm going to pick it up and gently check to make sure that my coils are kind of lined up, smoothed out, nice and attached. And then you're just going to keep going. Now you can see there's some scratched parts on the inside. You can fix that up whenever you want to. You could do it right away so you don't forget, or if you want to wait until you're done, you could do that. I wouldn't wait until it's too high because it's going to be hard to get in there. But use your fingers, go ahead. You don't need to add any more water to do this because you don't want to add so much water that your pot loses shape and just ends up into a pile of mush. But keep smoothing it out and stacking your coils, and eventually you will have your coil pot.